Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. I'm just gonna say it. I'm ready for something fresh in FC26, something that gets us excited again, like legit excited. Not just, oh cool, there's a sweet FPL thing that EA is doing with live cards like we got yesterday. Yeah, that is cool, but it's not like wow type content. And we had the first little bit of Foot Birthday dropped in the game yesterday for a tournament that's upcoming, and we have leaks about this marquee promo to discuss today. That's what this promo is, guys. Foot Birthday is one of the top 5 promos that we look forward to every year, and the leakers are starting to talk about it. So I want to get ahead of the curve with you guys about this promo. Talk about what we know, what we hope to see, and how that might impact the market. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we do need to talk about some content today on Sunday that could be pretty good, including a new icon pack that includes Team of the Year icons, and that means an investing opportunity where we could make some coins. Let's discuss, guys. If you're excited for something fresh, aka Foot Birthday in this game, drop a thumbs up on the video, hype the video, and subscribe if you are new. Now let's cover yesterday's content first from a Fantasy FC Saturday, where we did have new cards added to packs. That is the Star Performers set here of Federico Valverde, Sorloth, Zappacosta, and Yilmaz. I find it really interesting when I look at this Valverde card, by the way, that his meta rating here on Footbin is an 89.9. He's got 2 great playstyle pluses, but it's such a small upgrade over his Winter Wildcards versions. Technically, his Winter Wildcards version here has a higher meta rating, which is kind of crazy, even though he only has 1 playstyle plus. But when I look at Valverde, he's gotten 4 promo cards this year, and he's only gone up +1 overall. War a power curve for us. I guess they're taking this lower power curve pretty serious when it comes to his card. But Sorloth, Yilmaz, and Zappacosta do look interesting. Again, they're only going to be in packs for a couple of days. They will leave packs on Monday. So if you're trying to get one of those first owner, best of luck, because it's going to be a bit tough. Now, to the rest of yesterday's content, we got to talk about the Fantasy FC Live, the Rush event, of course, that dropped with some SP and some packs in here. But most importantly, the ability that we actually had to claim the Fantasy FC FPL live cards. And like I said I was going to do, I picked up Matthijs Tel and Brendan Aronson, and I wanted to tell you guys in this video today that I'm going to try doing some funny business, as we call it, with this Matthijs Tel card. At least I'm going to try to evolve this card, even though that goes against some better judgment of being safe for potentially, ruining the upgrades that this card could potentially get. And by what I mean by that is, if you evo him, you put stat caps on a card, you give a card playstyles and maybe a playstyle plus, those could get changed when the card does upgrade. But I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know if Matthijs Tel is going to get any upgrades, so I might as well try to upgrade him myself. If you're going to do any of this, just again know that there could be some problems, and most often with live cards, there is, and the best way to do this if you're going to evo these is probably to wait, because we have more evos that are upcoming, and you could potentially wait until this next couple of days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this next week, when those games are being played. And you might actually be able to see how well your player does, and therefore either evo them if they don't do good, or maybe wait to evo them if they do. So that's one thing I did want to mention. I am going to start evoing those cards, but it is risky. Now let's keep it moving and take a look at yesterday's new evolution, guys, where EA dropped a training camp evo for the first time in a long time. And remember, with one of the last updates we had, you can actually view training camp evos now in the console, not just on the web app or the companion app. This one's called Clinical Creator, and it's all about Harry Kane, which was fitting yesterday as their Klassiker was going on, and Harry Kane did score 2 goals and Bayern won. However, this evo is one of the more restrictive evos that we've had in a while. Max 86 pace. We used to have this a lot in like FC24 and even FC25, evos that were a bit more restrictive in terms of only allowing a few players in it, and EA has let evos be a lot more open this year. If we're being completely honest, there's a lot less requirements than what we've had in previous years, but this one does have some of those requirements. It's really interesting because it only takes 90 minutes to get this evo done. Once you put somebody into a training camp evo, you don't play any games, you just wait, but you have to claim the segments as the timers go down. So when 18 minutes comes by, you have to claim the evo. Then the next 18 minutes goes by, and the same thing all the way to the end. But is this evo really worth 60,000 coins? I might just do it because I have a good bit of coins on a card that looks decent because, hey, giving finesse plus and some decent stat boost and a 5-star weak foot to a player is very nice. Of course, with the base playstyles in there being finesse and incisive, then going to the plus, then you get low driven, first touch, and precision header. Like, it is a decent evo in some respects, but it's also an evo that for 60,000 coins doesn't take you above 86 pace, which at this stage of the game doesn't make too many cards super usable, although it does make a few cards look solid. So once again, I don't love that evolution, but I do think it is at least interesting for a few cards that you might be able to put into it. Maybe the most interesting part of yesterday's content on Saturday was the fact that EA, for 35,000 coins, is letting us forego the only other place where you could get a Fantasy Captain Icon cosmetic Evo, which was in objectives, by the way, for playing 20 or 25 games in the Fantasy Cup. You can spend 35,000 coins and get one without having to go through all that trouble. Now, this is actually a very good evo because, again, if you had maybe got this Sophia Wilson card and you wanted to get her on full chemistry, well, now you can for 35,000 coins. Or maybe there was another evolution card that you wanted to build, or a card you packed that just doesn't fit your team. Well, you can make them an icon and give chemistry to the rest of your team and put that player on full chem for 35,000 coins. That actually is a really big W, but it's frustrating for those who grinded out all those games because they thought that was the only way you're going to be able to get that cosmetic Evo. Now, to SBCs we go, where we did have Wayne Rooney Team of the Year. This card was, again, 800,000 coins before the SBC came out. 4-star, finesse, and first touch. If you're somebody who wants to use Wayne Rooney, this is a very usable card of his. It would still be usable for a while after this. I would imagine 12 squads seems like a lot, but again, when you look at the price of this SBC, it is under 700,000 coins, so it is a bit of a haircut on what his value was on the market. But again, as we're going to talk about FUT Birthday today, this is one of those things where you have to decide, is that really worth my fodder? Is that a card that's going to stay in my team for a while? And I think that people would say yes to this if they're just creating past and present squads, or maybe just a big fan of Wayne Rooney. But other than that, that might be an SBC you want to skip just to be careful with your fodder. But it's definitely not a terrible price. And really, neither is this SBC of Matteo Ruggeri. Maybe he's a little bit expensive to you because it's just not an SBC that you're interested in. But this is a really unique card. I wish he had a 4-star weak foot to begin with. But Tiki Taka and Jockey Plus, left back, left mid, upgrading for Atletico Madrid, obviously. Intercept, anticipate. He's got the Aerial Fortress, Rapid Tech, and Bruiser. Like, honestly, looks a pretty good left back card here. Just missing a few stats, like a little bit low on the strength. Maybe some of the defensive stats are a bit low as well, but the passing and dribbling is good. And he looks intriguing for sure as a card in game, but coming in at 170,000 coins, there's a little bit of live tax here for sure. You'd like to see this be a little bit cheaper, but it is a very intriguing card. Now, I'm going to be skipping that one as well. I'm starting to be a little bit more careful with my fodder. I'm 3 SBCs away. This is a little bit of a look into my account if you guys haven't been in the streams, but I'm 3 SBCs away from getting Vieira from the Henry and Vieira player pick. And as I've mentioned a lot, my plan is to take that Vieira and eventually turn him into a center back. Give him a position change, give him maybe the intercept plus playstyle, because he's got good stats already for a center back, and he's got the bruiser plus. Like, that card to me is just asking to be evoed with a position change to a center back just to create a really unique and interesting card. So I'm kind of being careful with my fodder, and also I think I'm going to start saving some packs as we head into FUT Birthday. Now, it's again a little bit of a later conversation than we're going to have in the video here, but there also yesterday, as a part of Saturday content, was a new 88 plus mixed heroes upgrade pack, which for me, I don't have a lot of interest in. It's only 63,000 coins. Like, an 85 and an 87 rated squad is cheap enough to make you think about it, but probably going to be a skip. And then EA dropped the 84 plus team of the week yesterday as well. The last part of content yesterday that we have to discuss, because there were some really good pack pulls happening from a lot of you guys in the stream yesterday, was in the store. Under the promo pack section, there was a player pick released that was 3.5K. That is very worth opening. Now, I got 2 86s from it, so I paid 3,500 coins for 2 cards that are worth 2,000 coins, so I barely made any profit. But there was plenty of you guys packing inforums and fantasy cards from that yesterday, so if you did not see it, I would highly recommend getting involved in that. Now, I want to take a look at fantasy cards really quick while we're on this tangent. Of course, a lot of games happening this weekend. And as we saw yesterday, well, we saw both the good side and the bad side with live cards. But yesterday it was more about the good side. Manchester City and Antoine Semenyo, specifically this card, and him in game cooking, right? Now kind of locking him in for a double upgrade with the win. This is 6 points for Semenyo's +1 overall, and he scored a goal. So that's taking him up 2 more base playstyles. That's looking very good for a double upgrade for Semenyo. His price is up a lot. He's 1.4 to 1.5 mil right now. He was 1.2 mil just a couple of days ago. But I do want to again shout out for you guys. If there's a player like this, or like Lewandowski is another great example of how this happened yesterday. If there's a player who scores or keeps a clean sheet or assists or something to get that kind of personal goal of getting the playstyle plus if they don't have 2, or 2 base playstyles if they already have 2 playstyle pluses, usually you see the highest price of that card in the spike right after they clinch that event. Antoine Semenyo went up to 1.7 million coins. And again, we just looked at his card and he's back down to 1.4 to 1.5. If you have a live card, that is usually the best place to sell, is in the hype of all of that news or that event that just happened to make that card go up. Selling in that moment is usually the best time to sell. When everybody else is buying, excited for the upgrade, selling then is a good idea. But there's a lot more price movements in a negative direction too. Like, take a look at Zaire Emery, 1.4 million coins. He was like 2 mil yesterday, and PSG won 1-0, but that's the case of these cards still being in packs and still getting packed a good bit from Weekend League. Adama Traore is 300,000 coins after starting the day yesterday at 439k. For investing in Fantasy Team 2 cards, it's looking like we're going to be eyeing tonight, Sunday night, and tomorrow once again. For these players, we just have to be a little bit more careful this week with FUT Birthday upcoming, but do your research. Find a card in here that has a chance to get some upgrades. Look at the prices of these players who have fallen off a good bit this weekend, just like we did last week with Fantasy FC Team number 1, right? We made some good investments on cards like Lewandowski. We looked at a lot of the other players in this team for good investment. Douglas Luiz was a card that went up a good bit. Noah Lang went up a lot, right? We're talking about the prices that moved from Sunday and Monday of last week into the middle of the week. Like, if we take a look at the graph, Noah Lang was on Monday 59,000 coins, and he was 71k by Wednesday. Nice little rise. I think the same thing can still happen this week, especially because we have midweek games. I just think you want to take a look at players from Team 2 and the heroes as well sometime late tonight on Sunday or tomorrow on Monday. But again, try to look at midweek matchups to see who could potentially have the best chance of getting upgrades. And speaking of upgrades, handful of players, including the Lewandowski, Semenyo, and Joao Cancelo are getting upgrades. Cancelo is going to get a +1 overall. Most likely, once again, these upgrades are coming out on Tuesday like they did last week. Also, on this little picture here, I don't know why Mateus Nunes and Dewsbury Hall are included in this. Those cards did not count. The upgrades for those FPL cards and objectives, of course, did not count from yesterday's games. Want to make sure that we make that very, very crystal clear. But in all of this, guys, I know there was a lot of content that we just covered. In all of that, there was one tweet yesterday about the next promo in this game that really just got me thinking, because I can't help but start thinking about what is coming next, because it's just something that is really exciting, because it's one of those marquee promos that we look forward to every single year. I have so many fond memories of FUT Birthday, packing FUT Birthday Pogba and Rashford, making somehow EA think that I'm a Manchester United fan, packing both of those cards back in FIFA 20 of FUT Birthday, FIFA 19 FUT Birthday, remember those cards, and so many years after that with just some really fun, engaging content that they dropped across the board in that promo, especially for some of the EVOs that we had in FC 25 last year, in FC 24. Of course, remember last year in FC 25, we had the nostalgia card designs, the throwback FIFA 18, 19, and 20 FUT Birthday designs that they added back into the game. Those are coming this year again too, and that's what really started getting me thinking yesterday, was another leaker tweet talking about FUT Birthday. That's like the second leaker tweet that we've seen in that number of days, guys. So yesterday, ASY FUT Trader tweeted out, March 6th is Foot birthday. Obviously, we knew about that. There's icons, there's heroes, and once again, the new concept has been hinted at here. Of course, this is the official card design that we're going to be getting for this year's FC26 Foot birthday cards, and he also mentions that the retro designs are coming back from 18 through 20, but this is what I'm really interested in. Also, we're going to talk about Neymar for a second today because the leakers are kind of starting to talk about and hype Neymar, like just showing him in a graphic like that. If they're going to show him in a graphic, they better have some reasoning for that, but I don't know if Neymar is going to be coming. Actually, I'm really not thinking that he will be, but they're hinting at it, which is like, not something that I really like. Anyways, guys, this is what FC26 needs right now, man. We need the hype of Foot birthday. And again, Foot Sheriff was the first one that tweeted about this a couple of days ago, saying there's a crazy new concept coming, and he shows the little bottle here, the test tube, which if you look at his other tweets of daily content every single day, when Foot Sheriff posts this little test tube emoji, it's in relation to evolution. So he's tweeting about Foot birthday. He's tweeting about Foot birthday. I think they know, all right? The leakers are starting to tease it, and with Fantasy FC and the state of this game at the moment, I don't think the leakers are going to be able to go too much longer without starting to talk about this promo. That's why I wanted to have this video today discussing Foot birthday and talk about what this promo could potentially bring. Of course, we've already looked at a few things, but I just want to get ahead of the game because I do think it's going to make prices move, but I also think it's going to make prices move up, not just down with panic selling and people getting rid of cards before a big promo, but also maybe making some investments for content we could be getting. But this is what we need, guys. We need truly engaging content that feels worth it. I know I just keep saying this, but like that's just truly, genuinely how I feel at the moment on this game. Content's just been on standby. It's been a mid-off almost every day of content. Sure, there's been some fun things. Like I like the FPL cards, like I've mentioned. I like that these cards are live. Fantasy FC is a promo that usually does bring some hype, but just right now it just feels like blah at the moment, you know? Really, like I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. That's just how it feels. Even when I'm going in to play the game in the evenings, like right now, I'm like, what game mode am I going to play? I don't know. There's a lot that's out, and it almost makes me just not want to focus on a little bit of trading and just chill in that regard. I'm just ready for Foot birthday, man, because I know that it can deliver. Also, yesterday, speaking of Foot birthday, we already looked at this, but there's this new Fiesta tournament, and it's Fiesta 1 tournament. Short matches, which is cool. It says compete in this daily refreshing tournament to earn rewards and qualify for Foot birthday Fiesta number 2. So daily refreshing, 5 entries per day. Sounds similar to what we have had before in other promos. There's a squad requirement here of 90 and higher overall max players 2 and 88 and overall higher maximum 4. And if you take a look at the progress, it's just a simple tournament bracket. It does not show anything of the rewards just yet. We'll have to keep a close eye out for that. But again, guys, the reason that I want to mention this is watch out for the leaks. I think some of these pieces of news and information about Foot birthday is going to be coming out pretty soon. Now, I spoke about the Neymar, right? And I wanted to just show these quick little squad screenshots here from way back in the day of Foot 20 with the Foot birthday players, and even last year's team of FC25 Foot birthday, which there were some gems in that team for sure. But there's a lot of talk about Neymar at the moment, and we know the Brazilian league has had rumors, and not just rumors, but some concrete evidence that they have been making headway with EA and rights, and some issues that have been there forever seem to be ironing themselves out. Like Botafogo now lists EAFC as a partner on their website. So tweets like this that are going around saying that Neymar is in Ultimate Team for the Foot birthday promo, like I think we got to take those with a pinch of salt until we are seeing like legit leakers, what I call legit leakers, ASY Foot Trader, Foot Sheriff, FIFA Trading Romania, Foot Police, the guys that are right 90+% of the time. Until we see those guys talking about Neymar, I think we can't really get our hopes up too much, even though you're starting to see people post pictures about this, especially like this guy, man. I don't know who this guy is, but I gotta believe this is cap because I don't think this guy is a credible leaker, but I've seen a couple of his tweets pop up on my For You page on Twitter, and they're popping off because he's posting some pretty crazy stuff. But I hear that he deletes a lot of tweets, so I don't believe that this account is legit, guys. I just wanted to mention that. I know I'm drawing attention to this account, but I do believe that if you see FutMech out there, again, nothing against him. It just seems like that is a bit of a fraudulent Twitter account. So I wanted to be very careful in believing that. But that's the type of big content that Foot Birthday could bring, right? If we kind of take a look back at last year and what the whole premise of the promo was, is 5-star, 5-star. We had a 5-star skill move and 5-star weak foot on every single player in Foot Birthday. Team 1, Team 2, the icons, and the heroes, they were all 5-star, 5-star. Some sort of 5-star skill or weak foot boost has always been a part of Foot Birthday. Of course, we had the cosmetics, which we've already talked about. And if you notice here last year as well, Foot Birthday brought daily player SBCs and daily evolution. And we'll talk about some more of how Foot Birthday went last year and how it felt and stuff like that. But what you need to know right now is I believe prices are going to continue to drop. I know we've been on a downtrend if you think about it. I know it's the beginning of March today, by the way. Happy March, right? 1st of March, 1st of the month. If you take a look at these graphs, we had a huge rise after Team of the Year, as expected. We kind of peaked in early to mid-February, and we've been dropping. But the market last week has actually been doing pretty good. If leaks begin for Foot Birthday, I think this is going to change around and you're going to see some prices continue to fall. Looking at Mbappe 2 weeks ago was 950K and now he's 650,000 coins. Pretty crazy. I feel like I see Mbappe less and less and less, but that's probably just because of Claudio Pina and the other crazy strikers that are out in this game. But just believe that when there are leaks that start for Foot Birthday, that's just, again, one of the marquee promos that always creates a little bit of panic. So I do think prices are going to drop. However, with that promo of Foot Birthday and with the hype of things, there's a part of the market that I think is ripe for investing because we're going to get some big SBCs during Foot Birthday for sure. And if last year during Foot Birthday, 89 rated cards went to 26,000 coins, surely this year at 11,000 coins right now, they are a little bit too cheap. That's correct. I went back into the archives to see how much did an 89 rated card go up last year during Foot Birthday. And as you can see, during the early months of March last year, after a huge run-up after Team of the Year, these 89 rated cards went down. Into early March, they were 20,000 coins. What happened right at the beginning of Foot Birthday? They went up to 26,000 coins apiece. I'm not saying that these 89 rateds this year are going to go that high, but 11,000 coins for 89s, as we pointed out in the past couple of days. This is the lowest they've ever been. Right before Team of the Year and right at the end of Winter Wildcards, this year they were 13,000 coins, and that was crazy cheap. And then during Team of the Year, they went up to 32,000 coins, right, for these 89s. They're back down to 11K. Guys, that is too cheap. Even if these just go to 15 or 16,000 coins in the next 2 weeks of the Foot Birthday promo, like during the first week, full week of Foot Birthday, that's a W investment. So if you're like, Nate, I don't know what to do with my coins right now, I think it would be a pretty safe idea to just stock up on some 89s, maybe stock up on a couple of 90s as well. Think about it. How many SBCs did we have during Team of the Year that made the 89s, 90s, and 91s go up? And how many more 90 and 91 rated players do we have that are actually fodder? Not a whole lot. A lot of these cheapest 90 and 91 rated cards are still the golds. And if you take a look at the next cheapest 90s, the only way higher rated fodder here is going to drop to meet, like these special cards, the only way they're going to go down to 30K or 20K, depending on their rating, is if EA put cards back in packs. And I don't know if that's going to happen for Foot Birthday, but that makes me like Bellingham, Rodri, Haaland, VVD, Graham Hansen for 20,000 coins, even more, even Bonmati and Puteas at 30,000 coins. Like, guys, this is so cheap. 23K was the cheapest Rodri has ever been before this. This just feels like a price that's too cheap. And based on the way content has been and the hope that content would turn around for Foot Birthday with bigger player SBCs, just more hype in general, I think that some of that fodder kit could go up in price. So I like the 89s and above for a bit of a longer term investment, but it's not just that range of fodder. Guys, I also like some fodder for an investment today for the short term. If you want to invest in something you might be able to sell in the next 2 to 3 days, whereas those higher rated you'd be selling in the next week, minimum, maybe 2 to 3 weeks would be your sell window on that. I'm looking at 87s and 88s because as a part of today's content on Sunday. We're transitioning from the foot birthday conversation straight into the Sunday content conversation. Today, we have an icon pack that has been added to the code a couple of days ago. Most people probably forgot about this, but we didn't, because our old icon pack is expiring today, and the new one that's coming out has Team of the Years in it. Now, you might notice, wait, that's going down a rating, because the other icon pack that we still have out right now is an 89 plus. It is. We're going down a rating back to 88 plus, but they're getting rid of the Thunderstrucks and they're adding in the Team of the Year icons, which in my opinion is an upgrade, because almost all the Team of the Year icons are still really expensive. Seeger's a million coins. Zlatan, Hullet, Maldini, Jarzinho, Thuram, Carlos Alberto. Like, there's only 2 cards in this team that are less than 800k or 900k, and that's Yashin and Rooney. So yeah, it's not going to be easy to pack any of these Team of the Year icon cards, but this is the icon pack that does not include the base icons. And if I'm doing any sort of icon upgrade right now, I would rather do this one that is cheaper, that does not include the base cards. Now, right now, the 89 plus that's going to be expiring today is an 85, 286, an 87, and an 88 rated squad. So if this icon pack, the new one today, comes out around the same price, then hopefully your 87s and your 88s do rise a good bit in value, and I think that could be a solid investment. So I'll be watching out for that and getting involved during squad battle rewards today. Maybe like 4.3k for the 87s and 6.5 to 6.7k for the 88s is where I'd go with those. Of course, trying to get them a little bit cheaper than that on bid, but, you know, with a good icon pack, even if we're right before the foot birthday promo and people are starting to save their fodder, an icon pack is always going to get people to spend. So I think those cards could go up a little bit. Now, through the rest of today's content on Sunday, what are we expecting? Not a whole lot, right? We got Anton, we've got Kokchu, who could be player SBCs. We also have the Carlos Puyol. Don't forget about that. We had Rooney yesterday. We could have Carlos Puyol as well. And we have this Fulkrug card now at AC Milan, which I didn't realize until this card was leaked that he had transferred there. I think that was in the winter window, or maybe it was in the fall window and I completely missed it, but I remember him being in the Premier League, and now he is no longer in the Premier League. But those are just some of the player SBCs that could be coming out today on Sunday. And last thing to mention for content would be an evolution, right? We had a Evo yesterday that was a bit different in the training camp section of the game. Today, the mindset training goes away, this Evo. We could have something replacing it, and there has been, I believe, a goalkeeper evolution that has been leaked. It's out there, it's somewhere, because I've seen goalkeepers moving in price. We were talking about it a little bit in the stream today. So just keep an eye out for goalkeepers. If you got a max 86 or max 87 goalkeeper that you're wanting to Evo or maybe even invest in, I think there's at least maybe a slight chance that you could see an Evo for a goalkeeper here pretty soon, just based on what we've seen through some Twitter leaks. So that's going to be the video for me today, guys. I know foot birthday isn't coming, and I'm excited for it. I am officially going to start saving packs after, maybe after today. I mean, I'll probably hit my 83 by 14s just to see if I hit a lucky Fantasy FC pull. I know Conor Gallagher, I'd still love to pack him. Adama Traore, like, I don't know if there's been a non-Spurs or USA promo card that has just motivated me more or made me think, man, I'd love to try this card out than this. Like, I'm going to buy Adama Traore this week and probably just try him out for the fun of it. But this is just a card that looks fun for me to use, and I would really love to pack him. So I'm going to open packs for another day, and then probably from Monday and beyond, I'm going to be saving all of my at least 83 and above packs. Try to save even some other ones below that if we can, but at least all my good packs I will be saving for Foot Birthday. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think about Foot Birthday. Was last year not good enough for you? Do you remember certain aspects of it that you didn't like? Did you do this Kareem Adeyemi SBC that I forgot about for a minute, but then I remember the 99 pace and how upvoted he was last year during Foot Birthday? That was a crazy one. Let me know in the comments what you remember about, you know, Foot Birthdays of old. I'd love to hear some of the memories, because this is a promo that has an expectation and it has a standard and it delivers in terms of content, and I need it. We need it to deliver this year in FC 26. So that's the video for me today, guys. If you did enjoy it, drop a thumbs up on it. Comment down below if you have any questions, and of course, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in another video tomorrow. Have a happy Sunday. Come on, you Spurs. Let's get some points in the Premier League. It's been TheFutAccountant. See you later. Peace out.